Hey y'all, Serena Starlight Witch here. I hope everyone's doing well and fabulous today. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you for clicking on this video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. I'm very grateful if you do so. So, I have a lot of videos to make. I have a lot of things to talk about, but I don't have a lot of time, so I'm just going to try to make as many videos as I possibly can. Now, I do apologize for the crappy content. I am not a content creator. I am not good at making videos. I'm definitely not good at editing videos. I'm just trying to get my point across. You know, I don't have time to sit down and put a lot of time into my videos. I'm sorry, but I don't. My favorite YouTubers, I just put my headphones in and listen to them. I don't even watch their videos most of the time. Sometimes I do, like before bed, but most of the time I just put my headphones in and listen. And I think that's what a lot of people do anyways. So I apologize for the crappy video, the crappy quality. Like I said, I don't know how to edit. I don't have the time for it. My main focus is getting my point across. So if you guys just want to put some headphones in and listen to me, you know, do that. I'm very grateful. If you do listen to me, if you do stick around, and thank you to those of you who have been subscribing and watching my content. I'm very grateful about that. So, I watched a movie called Plastic Detox, and I made a video, and I'm sorry if I'm looking down and all around, that's just how I think. I can't just stare into the camera. But I watched this movie called Plastic Detox on Netflix, and I ended up making a video afterwards, going on a long rant, a long tangent, because that movie pissed me off, like, so bad. But I felt like I was a bit rude and disrespectful in the video, because when I get very passionate about something, if I'm very passionate about something, I get very heated, and I can come off as disrespectful. And I was like, you know what, I don't want people to take me the wrong way. I don't want people to get or feel offended or upset. So you know what? So I was like, you know what, let me delete that video and remake it. Long video to remake, by the way. It was like 20 minutes long, and this is a discussion I can talk about all freaking day long. But I don't have the time for that. You know, maybe one day in the future, if I feel comfortable showing my face more, I will go on live and talk about these things. You know, it depends on, you know, how many subscribers I get, you know, if my channel goes anywhere. And if people are interested in discussing these topics. Because, like, I know I mostly talk about witchcraft, but, excuse me, coffee. But witchcraft is not, like, my life is not all about witchcraft. Yes, I love witchcraft. I do witchcraft. I do witchcraft almost every single day. You know, I am a magical practitioner, a tarot reader, a spiritual worker. But there's more to me in my life than just witchcraft. Yes, witchcraft is a big part of it, but there's more I want to talk about. There's more I want to discuss. There's more I want to spread awareness on than just witchcraft. Now, you know, not bragging, I'm very good at witchcraft. I'm very knowledgeable on the craft. But, you know, there's more to me. Like, for one, I am an environmentalist. I have been for a while. So when it comes to things like plastic, I'm not very fond of it. Now, again, I highly recommend you go watch that movie on Netflix. But there's another movie that I highly recommend as well. It's called Buy Now. Now, that movie will really wake you up. Now, you know, this is stuff I've been woken up to. Like, and I'm sorry if I'm talking your ears off. And if you've already seen this video, if you already heard me talk about this, feel free to skip this video. I apologize. Like I said, you know, intuitively, I felt like I should remake it and delete it. But yeah. But a few years ago, several years ago, actually, I went through this deep, deep awakening. And it was hell. I'm not going to lie. It was hell going through this awakening. It was like Hecate. It was like Hecate took me out of the Matrix. Literally, it felt like that. It was like Hecate snatched me out of the Matrix and pushed me into this deep rabbit hole and this deep awakening. And it was deep, guys. Like I know, I'm not stupid. You're not supposed to believe everything you see on the internet. Of course not. But the internet is becoming reliable for information. Not completely, of course. But, I mean, I was staying up all day and night looking up. I mean, I wasn't just doing little Google searches. Sorry for my horrible speech. But I was doing deep research. I'm talking about like a freaking mad genius. Like, crazy research. And I learned one thing. It was like I learned one thing. And then I had another question and another question. I went through, like, it got so deep that I started learning stuff that I did not want to learn. Okay, like, people have no idea how dark corruption gets, you know? And I just want to say this video is based off of my belief and my opinion only, and for entertainment purposes only. God, I can't talk today. So, you know, nothing in this video is a fact. But yeah, I went down this deep rabbit hole. Like, it went from learning little things to big things, like learning that our toilet paper is bleached and we're wiping our assholes with bleach. And that's causing things like cancer, supposedly. Our bread is bleached. Our clothes is made out of plastic and it's leaking into our body, putting microplastics in our body. One of the worst things you could touch is receipts, because receipts is made full of microplastic, and when you touch it, it soaks into your skin. Meat that you buy from the store is actually not supposed to be red or pink. You know, meat is actually supposed to be brown, but they dye it with dye that's poisonous or full of chemicals. But they do that to trick you into believing it's fresh, good meat. But they do that with everything. Like, they dye candy with all this, you know. But, you know, it's like candy. Candy is dyed with red 40, you know, and yellow, is it yellow 40 or something? You know what I mean? All those dyes that we are not supposed to be consuming. But yeah, the rabbit hole started small, and it just got so deep and dark to the point where I started learning about Epstein related stuff. And let me just say, that guy is like a small piece of that. He's like a pawn, you know. He's a small piece of that. I don't know how things are in other countries. I'm in America, but in my belief, America is a very dark place to live. There's a lot of corruption here, but there's corruption everywhere, so whatever. But I need to shut my mouth because I'm gonna get myself shadow banned. I love YouTube. Thank you, YouTube. I love Susan. Susan is wonderful. Don't forget to subscribe to YouTube Premium. So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna try to keep my mouth shut and not go too much into this. You know, I don't want to mess up my algorithm. I'm already, you know, trying my hardest to get my content out there. But plastic. Anyway, when I went down, I can't talk. When I went down this deep rabbit hole, I learned a lot about plastic. I learned a lot about a lot of things. But I learned a lot about plastic. Now, given this is stuff I already knew about plastic because it's common freaking sense, you know? But there is so much we don't know about what plastic is doing to us and our planet. You know, I don't want to say too much, but you know, they're dumping trash in the ocean now. I don't know if you guys know that, but we're running, I could be wrong, but I believe we're running out of places to put trash. So I like, you can look up videos. They're dumping waste and garbage in the ocean now. And anyway, the ocean is being destroyed by plastic. It is sickening what it's doing to our beautiful ocean. It is sickening what it's doing to the beautiful fishes. Not that long ago, I saw a video of it was like a dolphin or a whale. I can't remember. Anyway, it died and washed up on the shore. And they were trying to figure out, the people who found it, they were trying to figure out what killed it. And they couldn't figure it out because it looked perfectly healthy on the outside. Anyway, they ended up cutting it open. When they cut it open, it's all this garbage and trash fell out of its body. This fish, this dolphin or whale, was literally filled with plastic. I don't think people understand what plastic is doing to our planet. I don't think people understand what plastic is doing to our bodies, to nature, to wildlife. Plastic should have never been invented. Plastic should be illegal. It should be banned. It's one of the worst things ever made in history. It's one of the worst things for our planet. It's one of the worst things for humankind and animals and nature. This shit should not be legal. Just like alcohol. Alcohol should not be legal. If you people only knew how bad alcohol was for you spiritually, I don't touch it. Like, you won't catch me taking a sip of it. Especially because I don't want it messing with my spiritual work, my sacred work. But yeah, I highly recommend you go watch the movie By Now, and I highly recommend you go watch the movie Plastic Detox. But yeah, I hate plastic. Like, when you know, people think going through an awakening is bullshit, you know, but it's not. When you go through an awakening and you learn all this stuff, you're never the same. You never look at the world the same. Like I said, it was like Hecate put me in this deep awakening. She put me down this deep rabbit hole, and it's like she ripped me out of the matrix. Sorry, my phone's going off. Anyway, and it was like I don't look at the world the same. Like, I've noticed everything is all about money. Everything is all about greed. Everything is all about consumption. Buy. You know, you can't even leave your house without being tempted to buy. And, you know, so I'm not just talking about plastic. Plastic is just a part of it. But there's so much more. You know, like, fast food is killing us. Fast food is horrible for us, but yet it's everywhere. Anyway, there's so much I want to talk about that I'm getting off track. But let me keep talking about the plastic first. Plastic, do your research on what plastic is doing, but it's literally killing us. It's causing cancer. It's ruining our planet. It's ruining nature and wildlife. You know, try to recycle, try to use as less plastic as possible. Now, given most of us don't have the money to throw away all our plastic things or all of our silicone things and replace it with, you know, like wood and, you know, all that, you know, but we can try to do our part as humans and try to avoid plastic as much as possible. Try to use it as less as possible. You know, try to cut it out of our lives as much as possible. Try to be more mindful as much as possible. Sorry, my feet are falling asleep. So we can definitely do our part as people, you know, and if you litter, then you're a horrible person. I have no respect for people who litter. But people litter a lot still nowadays. Like, people throw trash out of their cars. It's horrible. You are the biggest scumbag on the planet if you litter. I'm sorry, but you are. And I don't apologize for saying that. So as people, we should do our part and not litter, clean up after ourselves, clean up when we do see litter, if it's safe to do so. And we should recycle and avoid as much plastic as possible. Now, given it's getting harder and harder to avoid plastic because everything is put in plastic nowadays. No surprise there, you know, because it's all about greed. These companies, these corporations, they just care about making a fast, quick buck. They don't care about us, and they damn sure don't care about the planet. You know, I feel bad for our descendants. The next few generations, they're going to have to deal with this. They're going to, you know, it's going to be like that movie, Ready Player One. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but that's another good movie to watch. They basically have to live in a virtual world. It's kind of like those glass things that, anyway, in the movie, they put on like these glasses, you know, like those gaming system things that you wear, these glasses. It's like that, and it like puts them in a virtual world, and they basically live their life in this virtual world because the real world has been destroyed by plastic and waste and cars, basically pollution. And they're all living, like, basically all of them are living like on top of cars and shit. So I believe that movie's called Ready Player One, so I highly recommend watching that as well. Anyway, but people don't think about these things. Like, people just buy, and without thinking. Like, these cars, I hate cars. I do. I think they're ugly. I don't care if you have a Lamborghini. I think cars are ugly. I think they're bad for the environment. I think they're fucking dangerous. You know how many people die in wrecks? So they're a waste of money. They're too much money. They're dangerous. They're one of the most horrible things for our planet. Then what the fuck are we going to do with them? They're not biodegradable. They can't disappear. So people are just buying and buying more cars without thinking about this stuff. I'm telling you, when I see a car, all I can think about is waste. Waste, pollution, landfill. Like, I'm serious. That's like what my mind goes to, is immediately those thoughts. Like, I wish it was back in the old days where we had horses and wagons, you know? Like, my dream society would be modern technology combined with ancient technology, you know? Like, does that make sense? Like to have a society where we have flying cars but also horses and buggies, like where we have a city but also large fields and gardens and farms, you know? Like, I feel like there's a way where we can live with modern technology and ancient technology, like where we can live in the future and the past in a way that's convenient and easy for us, but better for the planet. The way that we're living now is not it, okay? It's not working. Like I said, I feel bad for our descendants because they're going to have one hell of a time. And listen, I don't care how broke or poor someone is in America. We're all very spoiled in America. We're all very entitled. Most of us are greedy. I hate to say it. Most of us are not thinking about what our descendants is going to go through. We're not thinking about what we're doing to the planet. Most people are thinking about money 24/7, you know? And I'm not saying that in a rude or disrespectful way. And I'm not saying all of us, but unfortunately it is most of us. It's all about convenience and greed. And like I said, these corporations, these companies who make these things, they know what it's doing to us and the planet. They know, but they don't give a shit. They're only thinking about their next dollar. You know, they're only thinking about themselves and their family. Okay, if the world ended today, these people could easily go and buy underground bunkers to save their asses and to save their family asses. But they wouldn't give a shit about us. You know, fuck us. They only care about themselves. So as humans, as civilians, as normal average people, we have to do our part to change the world. You know, stop wasting our money, stop supporting these corporations, these companies, avoid plastic as much as possible, start supporting local farms and small businesses. You know, why people are still buying and consuming is beyond me. Because enough information, whether you go down the rabbit hole or not, enough information has been put out there to show people this stuff, to tell people about this stuff, but most people do not care. They're still buying, they're still consuming, and they're still wasting. But anyway, plastic, yeah. Just, you know, and I'm not trying to tell you what to do, I'm just giving you my advice. You know, think about what you're doing to the planet, think about what you're doing to yourself, and think about what you're doing for the future generation. You know, like plastic, you know, our clothes has plastic in it, unless you're buying 100% cotton, but most things has plastic in most things has plastic in our bed sheets, our pillowcases, our clothes. You know, polyester is like basically plastic. You know, the best thing you can do is to buy wood stuff, ceramic, glass, 100% cotton things. But like I said, most of us don't have the money to throw away all our shit, and like I said, it would just cause more waste and pollution. All we can do is to cut it out as much as possible and be more mindful about the things that we buy and consume. It's very hard to avoid it at the grocery store because everything's put in plastic. Like, for example, I avoid soda like the plague. Soda is absolutely horrible. My spirits won't let me touch it. There's something very bad about soda because my spirits, they do not like me drinking soda. They get upset when I do. And also soda's, you know, full of plastic because it's put in plastic bottles. You know, but yeah, try to avoid soda, try to avoid chips and candy, try to avoid anything that's in a bag or in a plastic bottle. I'm not saying I'm perfect, okay? I still buy these things, I still consume these things, but together as a collective, let's try to be more mindful of what we buy. Let's try to make better decisions over time. Let's cut the bad stuff out over time. You know, we don't have to do it all at once, baby steps, but let's try, you know. Let's try, you know, the more we cut out, the less we buy that's bad for us, the less money these people who make it are going to have. And they're going to have no choice but to start doing things the right way. Have to start making things and putting it in, you know, glass bottles and taking out the chemicals and the poisons and the dyes. Okay, if we stand up and, you know, be the change, be the difference we want to see, these corporations and businesses will have no choice but to do the right thing. Right now, you know, we're still supporting them. We're still giving them what they want so they don't give a shit. You know, they're still getting away with it. But they're killing us, okay? They're literally killing us. It's not just the plastic, but plastic is killing us. Whether you believe it or not, it is killing us. It's very important that we cut it out of our lives as much as we possibly can because it is killing us. But I understand it's hard. Everything's made with plastic. Plastic is cheaper, so I get it, okay? They're making it very difficult for us. But like I have been saying, do your best. And be mindful, you know, don't litter. Try to recycle. You know, try to do what you can for your body, for the earth, for the animals. But yeah, plastic should not be legal. These corporations, these companies know what they're doing. It is killing us. It's killing the planet. We only get one planet, guys. Earth is such a beautiful planet, but humans are ruining it. Like I was saying in my previous video, I feel like everything is so, excuse my language, but fucking ugly. I feel like everything is so fucking ugly. Like, I think cars are ugly. I think the roads are ugly. Like, when you leave the house, it's all fucking gas stations and cars and fast food places and stores. It's all about buying and consuming. There's so much waste and greed. I'm like, it's so ugly to me. Like, where are the castles, you know? Like, I love castles. And, you know, I feel like back in the day, everything was so much more beautiful. You know, now we have these ugly ass houses. I even think mansions are ugly. Like, you know, I think log cabins are beautiful. Cabin homes, castles, things that were made with real materials that would last for generations. That, in my opinion, didn't pollute the earth because it would last like freaking multiple lifetimes, you know? In my previous video, I talked about this TikToker. There's a TikToker. He is a house inspector, right? And he inspects houses, and he has to do this before they can be sold. And he came out and opened up his mouth. Well, he wasn't supposed to, but he did. And he snitched on these construction companies. And he said he was crying. He was angry when he made this video. He was like, it was like people have no idea how much they're being ripped off. He said, do not buy a house that is made in 2020 and after. He said these houses are literally being made with cardboard. He literally said that, guys. He said they're being made. Anyway, he said they're being made with the cheapest materials possible. He said they're being made with cardboard. They're not using real materials or real wood. He said these houses will not be standing in 20 years. He said these houses will crumble. They will fall apart. But he said they're being sold for $200,000, $300,000, $400,000. Anyway, he said that these companies are completely and totally basically scamming people. But why would you want to buy a house anyways? Like, houses, fuck a house, okay? They're way too expensive. They're ugly in my opinion. Like, you could probably pay someone $50,000 for a nice little log cabin. Maybe less, you know. Like, that's my dream. My dream is to live on a plot of land with a log cabin. Not a tiny one, but decent size, you know. I don't want it to be super tiny, like a tiny house, but enough size, you know, with a garden and a couple of farm animals. You know, that's my dream right there. And that's all people need. Like, people don't need these ugly ass $200,000, $300,000 fucking houses. They don't need these shitty cars. I don't care if it looks nice or not. They're all shitty, in my opinion. Like, people, like, talking about the rat race, for example, the rat race is very real. Okay, if you work a full-time job, and we all do, we all have to. So, basically, us as a collective, sorry, my hair's getting in my face, it's driving me crazy. But, we sacrifice our life, our time, our blood, sweat, and tears for money. That's what a job is. Everyone is a slave nowadays. Everyone. If you work a 9 to 5 and you do not have your own business, you are a slave. Okay, so everyone is a working slave. Everyone is sacrificing their life and time for money. And then they go and waste it on stupid shit that ends up in a landfill. And then they feel they have to buy a house, they have to buy a car. And you don't have to, okay? You can literally just buy a tiny house and put it on a plot of land and have a garden and you'll be blessed. To me, that is luxury. The American dream is not luxury. Okay, anyway, that's debt. That's slavery, okay? That's a false dream. So, anyway, like, people are basically giving up their life for money. And then they feel the need to buy the American dream. And we don't have to do that. Like, you know, like I said, these houses are too expensive. $200,000, $300,000. No, fuck that. Then they want to buy a $20,000 car, $30,000 car. No, fuck that. I don't care if I was a billionaire. I would still live in a log cabin with a garden. I would put that money towards helping others through charity. You know, donating it to animal shelters, women's shelters, the soup kitchen, and things like that. You know, greed makes me sick. Seeing people, you know, spend $50,000 on a gold chain. Like, you're sick. I'm sorry, but I think that's sick. There's just so much greed in the world. Plastic is just the beginning of it all. But I do want to spread awareness about plastic because plastic makes me sick. It does. It makes me physically ill. I hate looking at it. I hate touching it. You know, I know it sounds crazy, but I'm getting to where I avoid going to stores. When I go into a store, all I see is plastic, chemicals, poison, landfill, you know? And let's talk about the stores. Okay, for one, the stores are filled with negativity because so many people shop there and they never cleanse their stores. It's full of bacteria. I'm sorry, but most people are disgusting and don't wash their hands. So, you know, you want to be careful with what you touch. Okay, and 3, the stores are packed to the brim with junk that we do not need. And you know, have you guys seen the dumpster diving videos? I've gotten to where I can't watch them because the videos make me physically ill and it makes me so furious. But these businesses, freaking stores, restaurants, they just throw away perfectly good stuff in the dumpster that don't sell. Perfectly good food. Hell, some of them are throwing away live animals, okay? Like goldfish that don't sell. Anyway, they're throwing away perfectly good food, perfectly good clothes and items. There's this one guy that I watch. He's all over social media. He's got like millions of followers. I think it's called the Dumpster Diving King. Go watch him. That shit will wake you up as well. It's sick. Why is that legal? Please tell me, why is that legal? Why is it legal to throw away perfectly good food? Why is it legal to throw away perfectly good items and products? Some of these companies are so greedy, they'll get like mugs, coffee mugs, and smash them before they throw them away so that people can't take them out of the trash cans and use them. They'll take $2,000 purses and cut them up and rip them apart and throw them in the trash can. Because they're so greedy that if it don't sell, if I don't get money, no one's getting anything. No one's going to take it out of my trash can and get it for free. That's how greedy they are. So like, we got to stop supporting the stores, okay? Like, we've got to stop supporting these corporations. We've got to stop supporting these businesses. We've got to stop because they don't care about us. They don't care if we live or breathe or die. They don't care about the planet. They only care about greed. So why are we supporting them? You know, why are we still shopping and buying? Because we shouldn't be. But anyway, those stores can be donating to women's shelters, soup kitchens, freaking children in need. They could be donating, you know? Like, I get if you don't want to give stuff away for free. I get, you know, you're worried about giving away expired food. But, like, you can fucking just donate it with a fucking disclaimer, you know? Like, you know, like, they could do the right thing. But they don't want to. They just care about greed. So we got all this plastic, all this stuff being thrown away into garbage that could be donated. And it's being put in the landfill. The landfills can only hold so much, guys. Okay, what are we going to do when there's no more room? You know, that's why we've got to be more mindful. We've got to stop buying things we don't need. Listen, I take money very seriously. I always think about a purchase before I buy it. Like, even if it's just a fucking penny, even if it's just a penny, I think, do I need to buy this? You know, I don't buy anything anymore that I don't need. If I'm not going to need it, if I'm not going to be using it for a long period of time, I don't buy it. I mean, yeah, I'm human. Of course, I buy things here and there that I don't need that I like, you know, because that's human nature. But spending money makes me sick. The thought of supporting these greedy, evil, wicked corporations and businesses makes me sick. The thought of losing money makes me sick. The thought of it ending up in a landfill makes me sick. Not to mention, everything's made so cheap nowadays. Back in the older times, they would make things that would last 100 years. Now, shit will last like a few months to a few years. You know, so almost everything's a waste of money. Unless you're supporting a local business, a freaking small business, a family business, yada, yada, yada. But you gotta think, these corporations are evil. They're so fucking evil. Okay, they know what they're doing to us and the planet. They could easily get rid of plastic and replace it with glass, you know, or other biodegradable things. And I don't really agree with boxes, because paper is not a good thing either. We're destroying a lot of trees for paper. So there's this, I've heard of bamboo. I've heard bamboo is really good. I've heard that some people are trying to replace things with things that are made with bamboo. I don't know much about that. I haven't looked much into it. But yeah, I'm sorry I went on a long tangent, a long rant. I just have a lot to say. You know, this is stuff that really bothers me. This is stuff that really upsets me and gets to me. I hate plastic. It makes me sick. I hate all the greed, the selfishness, the corruption. I hate all the waste and the pollution that's going on. You know, I wish we can live like the Native Americans lived, you know, with nature, you know. But, you know, I like convenience too. So, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to say. Yeah. Anyway, it's just every time I leave my house, I feel like I get physical. Anyway, every time I leave my house, I get sick. When I see all these fast food places, I get sick. There's literally fast food places everywhere. Like, you literally cannot leave your house anymore without being tempted to spend money. Like, there's this gas station on every corner. There's a Dollar Tree on every corner. There's a fucking Family General, whatever, on every corner. There's like a Walmart on every corner. Like, and you see none of them doing anything to help out those in need or to help the planet. You know, like, it's sickening. Like, you can't even leave your house anymore. And like I said, everything's so ugly to me. Like, I don't know. It's like when you get out of the Matrix and the rose-colored glasses get pulled off your eyes, the wool gets pulled off your eyes, and you see things. It's like that Matrix movie where everything looks great and everything says buy, 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 consume, consume, consume. That's literally how I see the world. Well, not the world. I see the world, the planet, as beautiful, but that's how I see society. My nose is itching like crazy. Because it looks like everything looks ugly, and just the stores are everywhere, fast food places. All I see is pollution and waste and corruption and spend money, spend, you know. So anyway, just guys, try to be more mindful, try to be more aware, try to make better decisions for yourself, for the planet. You know, try to save your money. You know, like I'm never going to buy a house. I don't want to buy a house. You know, I'm happy with what I have. You know, I'm never going to buy a fancy car. It doesn't matter how much money I have. You know, give me a freaking $3,000 car and I'm happy with that. You know, or give me a fucking whatever. You know, like, I don't know, I'm different than most people, but I'm very spiritual and I'm very aware, and I just see things for what it is. Most people are in the Matrix and most people are not very aware. So that's why I want to spread more awareness. But yeah, do your research, learn. Like I said, be more mindful. You know, you won't believe how deep this corruption goes. Like our food, like you won't believe what is going on with our food. In fact, I was going to make a video, but now I'm running out of time. But I'm going to make a video on food and the vibration that food carries. Because how our food is being treated and grown, it is affecting its vibration. So yeah, anyway, like I said, do your research, be careful what you're spending your money on, be careful what you're consuming. Anything with plastic is not good for you, but like I said, pretty much everything's made with plastic, so just do your best to avoid it. If you can afford to avoid the grocery store and shop locally, then do so. Try to avoid fast food, try to avoid chips and candy and soda. All that shit causes cancer, you know. I'm cutting it out more and more in my life, you know. Try to make your own bread as well. I literally added a bread maker to my wish list. I've had plans to buy one, I just haven't done it yet. I'm getting so tired. But yeah, I hate plastic, fuck plastic. Hopefully it gets banned one day, hopefully before the damage is irreversible, but I feel like it already is, unfortunately. If you can get totes for your groceries instead of plastic bags, please do so, like the reusable ones. Anyway, let's stand together as a collective and stop supporting these greedy corporations and start standing up and speaking out and stop supporting them and giving them our money, you know. I don't like to judge people, but people are definitely over consuming. Like, I see it a lot in women, but I see it, I know both men and women are doing it, but I see it mostly in men. I mean, women. I actually see it less in men than I do in women, but both genders are doing it. But you see these vlogs of women on TikTok and YouTube where they go buy a $5 coffee from Starbucks that's in a plastic container, supporting all these businesses are greedy and corrupt. So you're supporting a corrupt business who don't give a fuck, destroying the planet, destroying you, don't give a fuck. You're wasting your money. You could make a coffee at home. I make my coffee at home, and then they go to Target and they buy all this stupid shit. Like I don't go to Target. One thing I was thinking about, sorry, I'm having allergies. One thing I was thinking about is Ultra. I see videos of little kids, parents taking their little daughters to Ultra and spending hundreds of dollars on makeup for their daughters and skincare. You don't need skincare until you turn 25. I've never had a skincare routine until I was 26. And I have perfect skin. I still look like a teenager. You just need water. Drink lots of water and your skin will be fine. All these products are like, I used to use lotion because I have dry skin, but I don't anymore because lotion is horrible for you and it's made in plastic. So now I've been getting natural oils that come in glass bottles, like vitamin E oil. I can't think of the other oils on top of my head. Rose water. Like you would never catch me step foot in Ultra. Like you don't need to go to these stupid ass stores. Like these makeup, these skin products are just full of chemicals. It's all about greed and money. These stores, these businesses don't care about you or their planet, and they know they're selling you toxic products. Like it makes me sick when I see these videos of women doing all this shopping, going to Target, buying all this stupid shit, wasting their money on all these dumb things, like buying all this Hello Kitty stuff, buying all this makeup, all this clothes, all these home decor. I don't buy home decor. I feel like home decor is stupid. But yeah, like I'm not going to keep talking about it because I don't want to offend people. I don't want to seem rude or disrespectful. But people need to be more mindful. They need to stop wasting their money. They need to start saving their money. They need to stop buying things that pollute the earth. They need to stop buying all these toxic products. And they need to stop supporting these businesses. And they need to realize, like perfume, for example. I talked about how people who spray perfume on their skin is stupid. And I shouldn't have said that, but it is stupid. You're not supposed to spray that stuff on your skin. It's full of toxins and chemicals. And when it soaks into your blood, it's dangerous. If it soaks into your skin, it gets into your bloodstream. And it's very, very bad. So, breathing in cleaning chemicals, touching cleaning chemicals, breathing in perfume and body sprays and touching is very, very, very bad for you. I only use vinegar and Dawn dish soap for cleaning. You don't need to waste money on cleaning products, and it's horrible for you. Horrible for the product, the earth, You don't need perfumes and body sprays. Just wash your fucking ass. Okay, these things are bad for the earth and bad for you. Bad for you to breathe in, bad to get on your skin. You don't need, all these self-care things. You just need a freaking bar soap, literally. I like Dove, okay? Dove is my favorite. And I'm clean. I'm very clean. I never stink. Okay, you don't need all these fancy hygiene products. You don't need all these self-care products. You don't need all these cleaning products. They're just full of chemicals and microplastics and toxins that are killing you and our planet. And it's a waste of money. Just get the bare minimum and save your money. Just get some Dawn bar soap. Just get, some vinegar and Dawn dish soap for cleaning. Just get some like oils for your hair and face. Oils are the best. Like I said, vitamin E oil, rose water, I can't think of the rest at the top of my head, but there's a couple very good oils that you can get that's good for your skin and face. If you do have dry skin, just get like one moisturizer that's cheap. You don't need nothing fancy. It's all made the same. But you guys have got to wake up. You've got to be more mindful. You've got to stop supporting these greedy, evil businesses and corporations. You've got to start doing your part to better the earth and better yourself. Like just do your own research. I'm not going to keep yapping about it, but it makes me sick. Like I said, I can't even do shopping anymore at all because I'm so aware at this point. And seeing videos of people, like I said, taking their kids to Ultra, spending hundreds of dollars. I'm like, y'all are so dumb. Like, you have no idea what you're doing to your child. Like, you have no idea. You're supporting these businesses, you're wasting your money, you're polluting the earth, and you're polluting your body. I hate seeing videos of people doing shopping. I hate it. I hate it. Like, all I can think about is, like, you're so dumb. You're just polluting the earth, you're polluting your life, you're making clutter in your life, you're exposing yourself to toxins, you're wasting your money, you're supporting evil corporations and businesses. Like, I could talk about this for hours, so I'm just going to shut up now. Anyway, but I'm going to talk about this a bit more. So anyway, I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe for more. Bye.